My daughter's pid visiting her dead father every week. I just followed her to the cemetery. She wasn't at his grave. She was meeting his identical twin brother he never told me existed. Lily started visiting the cemetery every Sunday after David died, 12 years old, processing grief in her own way. I'd drop her off with fresh flowers, pick her up an hour later. She'd return quiet but calmer, eyes red from crying. Ice cream from a shop near the cemetery, 2 cones, pad and cash she didn't have. My maternal instinct screamed Schumann was meeting my daughter, grooming her in her vulnerability. I decided to follow her next visit. Sunday came. I dropped Lily at the cemetery gates with yellow roses, David's favorite, parked around the corner. Watched her walk, not toward section C where David was buried, but to the old chapel on the grounds. A man sat on the bench outside. My lungs seized David's face, David's build, David's way of running fingers through his hair when nervous, but David was dead. I'd identified his body, held his cold hand, watched them lower his casket. Lily ran to this stranger, threw her arms around him. He hugged her back, careful and familiar. They walked to a nearby food truck. He bought her ice cream. They sat on the grass talking animatedly. I crept closer, phone recording. His voice drifted over David's voice but rougher. Sadder, they were looking at something on his phone. Full those Lily laughing at whatever he showed her when she left for the bathroom. I confronted him. Close, the differences were subtle, but there a scar through his left eyebrow, slightly crooked nose, harder eyes. Who are you? He studied me with David's face wearing a stranger's expression. Hello, Sarah. I am Samuel, David's brother. The world tilted. David was an only child. His parents died before we met. No siblings, no extended family. He'd been alone in the world until us. He never mentioned a twin brother. He never mentioned a lot of things. The story came out of pieces. He knuckle twins separated at 3 when their parents divorced. Custody split. Queck estates, different lives. They found each other at 18 through social media, kept in touch secretly. David had been ashamed of Samuel's criminal record, his struggles with addiction, his inability to hold jobs or relationships. The successful brother didn't want his mess of a twin contaminating his perfect life. He sent money, Samuel said bitterly. Until Lily. David had contacted him before the accident, wanted to reconcile, seed up a meeting that never happened. After the funeral, Samuel reached out to Lily through Instagram. She'd been desperate for connection to her father, wanted in his reflection. She knows, I asked. Everything chest handle truth better than adults. She needed family, I needed redemption. I wanted to grab Lily and run. This man with my husband's face and a stranger's past. But then she returned, saw me, and her face did something heartbreaking. She looked guilty but defiant, protective of the secret relationship. Mom, this is Uncle Sam. The name hit like a slap. David used to joke about our future kids' imaginary friends. Every kid needs an Uncle Sam, he'd say. I'd thought it was patriotic humor. Now I wondered if it was guilt. Samuel stood to leave. Lily grabbed his hand. Please, she whispered. He's all I have left of Dad. The manipulation was clear, encouraging my daughter's grief, wearing my husband's face. But Lily's eyes were brighter than they'd been in months. She'd been drowning, and this stranger who looked like her father had thrown her a rope. I made a choice that still keeps me awake. Sunday dinners, I heard myself say. You can come for Sunday dinners? Now he sits at our table weekly. Lily glows. I serve pot roast to my husband's secret twin, watching David's hands hold unfamiliar silverware. He tells stories of their childhood I never knew, shows us photos of David as a teenager that make my heart ache. Sometimes I catch him looking at me with an expression David never wore, longing mixed with resentment. He loved his brother, hates him too.